This week it's Mazda's imperious CX-80 Azami PHEV. The looks aren't exactly going to set people on fire, and if I'm honest, it's a little bit conservative. It proudly proclaims a PHEV, but like all of the other O's, the 70, the 80, the 90, it's an inline six-cylinder. There's plenty of room inside. There's 7 seats. The back 2 you can put down from the back space here. One thing I like, I just wanted to show you this camera. That is absolutely brilliant. 360 degree there, and kind of an invisible car here. Well, it's a big black dot, but it kind of shows you exactly where you are. And you can choose different views by using the dial below. This is the most expensive Mazda CX-80, the PHEV Azami. It is able to do magnificent things. For example, at the moment it is in EV mode, showing up here on the dash. The speed and the speed limit is showing up in my head-up display. And directions and Apple CarPlay and so forth, which is wireless. Mazda resisted Apple CarPlay for so long, but it's been in for several years now, and they went straight to wireless, thank goodness. And this CX-80 isn't cheap. CX-80 generally comes in several models. This particular one is $95,000. That's no chump change. Now this has gone straight to Apple CarPlay. And the thing that I don't like about this is that it's a little far over to reach to get to some of my functions, but also this really wasn't made for CarPlay in my view, because CarPlay is meant to be used with a touchscreen, and sometimes the touchscreen doesn't work, which is just daft. The drive is deliciously smooth, and also navigating a CarPlay screen with a dial is absolutely diabolical. It's horrendous. All the steering wheel buttons and steering wheel functions work fine, so the highway assist works beautifully. Oh no, this is clever. This is brought up where I'm going next, because I was checking out back at home. So let me go search. Right. And so what that's given me is the directions to my first stop. I've got my e-bike in the back. Now this is the strangest feeling. Even though this is in EV mode, it feels like it's got gears. I don't know whether that's intentional or not. And I haven't had that much of a chance to spend in this car this week, because I've been out of town. It's got 200 kilowatts combined, which I think is just not quite enough for a car of this immense size. And as I said last week, I still can't understand why there's a CX-60, 70, 80 and 90. Some of those sizes are so close that they may as well not be different. I know some have 7 seats like this one, some have 5 seats, but it just seems so unnecessary. In any event, mostly around town, so what I was trying to do this week was to stay in EV mode as much as possible. So rather than test a road trip, which all of you say you buy a car for, but none of you ever do. And I know there's 1 or 2 of you who are saying, but I do. And how many of those do you do in a year? How many road trips? 1? 2? Why don't you fly and rent a car when you get there? I've topped this up a couple of times. I'm getting 50 kilometers roughly out of each. And I'm back down to about a half a tank, if you like, of battery. And I think I've hit on the intrinsic value of PHEVs. And that is that this is what they're meant to be used for. People that can charge, and I just happen to be in a place where I could, will spend almost all of their time in EV only mode. So the significance of that is that this $95,000 car is big. It can be used as mum's taxi, of course, but it is far too lovely. Mazdas always do a beautiful cabin. Everything is soft and classy. Even the hard plastics don't feel terribly scratchy. There's zones of climate control in the front and another in the back. There's still tons of buttons, and that's what I like. The central command area is a secondary control system for the infotainment, even though the infotainment is a touch screen, but you can see that touch screen is a long way away. Now, that really should be here. If it's going to be of any use, it should be here. I don't know why Mazda insists on resetting them so far. And Lexus is a little bit the same, although their newer systems are out here. You can take this out of EV only mode if that's your thing. And there's drive modes down here to help you do that. And one thing I've discovered is that a lot of people generally buy a car, set it up, and then they don't really touch much after that. They get it working how they like it to be working, and then that's it. That's basically it. They don't fiddle with anything else. I was with my sister-in-law early in the week in her Audi Q3 Fastback, and she didn't know that it had drive modes, or that if you pull the gear lever back it had a sports mode. And she didn't care. She didn't care that it had wireless Apple CarPlay. She keeps plugging her phone in. And I said, but you don't have to. Just let it do its thing. In the end, her life was made a little bit better with a little bit of extra information. But buyers seem highly resistant to change. And I think that's one of the main reasons that PHEVs have not been a massive success. And particularly the Japanese brands, they're having a hedging bet both ways. That some will like a part EV, part internal combustion engine, and some won't. Some will want one or the other. Now, I don't know about you, but this has got plenty of room in the front, plenty of room in the back. The third row, they say, is for standard size people, but not plus size people. So I did try and get in, and I did film it, and I'm not going to show you. So before you ask, no. Everything about the CX-80 is built for comfort. And like the CX-90, which I didn't like as much as the CX-9, is built for someone that wants not quite an EV and wants style, although the style, you could argue, is very muted. That's the other thing about these 60, 70, 80 and 90 is they don't look a world away from the other Mazda SUVs that have been out for ages. And this was a chance to do something really radical and different. The warning system in this car is really great. Nothing in the CX-80 has been intrusive. The ADAS features, the auto steering and lane keep assist and auto cruise control work beautifully. But not only that, they're not brutal, they're not brutish. They're not demanding of my time. And the alerts don't blast me in the face. They're subtle and infrequent. They only alert you when they need to. And it does watch out around you. Warns you if there's cars at the side, or anything else at the side for that matter. This car isn't new. It's got about 6,000, 7,000 kilometers on it. And the long-term fuel usage is 4.9 litres per 100 kilometers. For a 7-seater, that's quite remarkable. If you can plug it in at home, it means that you're going to be using off-peak power to charge. I've enjoyed my relatively short drive compared to what I normally do, and it feels wonderfully sorted, beautifully poised, but it's not very exciting. And that's all this week from Mazda CX-80 PHEV. It's not a bad car, it is expensive, and I'm not quite sure who Mazda are pitching it at. But in any event, hit like, leave a comment, and just over there to subscribe.